Where are the other leaves? Yeah. Where are the other leaves? Leave there.
You can just put it over there on the table. I don't know.
Will you carry this with you?
No, actually, these I brought from the general conference. I don't have recycling.
Near the next one, the next one.
Well, it's all the way.
The one's not for you.
No, you can make where you
Maybe you can mark the two columns with colours.
Okay.
Does anybody know where the case of these went? Somebody took them. Yeah, I took them. The case is around that back pocket. Maybe we can just find it. Good.
So we're not ready.
So, who is going to do the timekeeping? It's me. Marvelous. It's wonderful. So, would you please do, we're needing to do quite quick transitions because we want to give 9 people the chance to speak. And we're not going to be giving, sadly, people. Yes, I would say if you do 3 minutes, you get 2 minutes feedback. If you do 5 minutes,
So should I have a 5-minute
I have a
timer
3
and
minutes.
should I have a 5-1 and wave at first? Is it that?
No, after 3 minutes, you do this, and after 5 minutes, you go twice.
Okay, so should I pick?
Yes.
Could we put the flag over the?
guarantee the color.
Yes, we can.
Great.
Absolutely. We're still creating the stage.
Hang on.
They turn it around, just watch out. But if they turn it around.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We can use this, Mike,
Finish.
here.
Yeah.
You can. You're doing it on the back?
Yeah. I don't think it's strong enough.
These ones. You just need more than.
Okay.
Oh, can I, here, wait, I got it.
Oh, good job.
Can someone do it on the back there?
Yeah.
Cool. Can I make that?
Yeah.
We are so professional.
Film production people.
Very nice. Ta-da!
Yeah.
So are people meant to stand in front of the flag?
Yeah. Everyone knows it's being recorded, right?
Yes.
And live streamed.
Live stream, but no one's watching and it's a problem. And no one will watch until somebody shares it and we'll all get agreement before anybody shares it, but we can all share it within the group, just with ourselves so we can watch it.
And what I think is fantastic is to actually do it just for ourselves, because you watch yourself presenting. I know it's usually discomfort and cringe but it can be super helpful to actually see.
And it's showing the camera right now, but I'll turn this off so you don't have to watch yourself.
Thank you.
So, is it you who starts?
No.
Raphael starting, but also, and I just wanted to give the information that this is the area.
The edge of the stage.
The edge of the stage.
So then maybe we can move the material over.
This, well,
No, it's actually not a nice composition in the
that's good,
video.
it's good.
I think it's good enough. Good enough.
So you're not timing because I'm telling you who you are. So in order that I can speak. So
But you only have 10 seconds.
10 seconds. So you're the local government, but as I understood with Jennifer, it's not so critical because we sit sometimes together in the village, drink the beer, we meet them in like different occasions. So they're kind of also people we know. Cool. So thank you for having me. I know it's a precious time for you and you do a lot of work for the development of our city. So, and today I am here to present you some part of what our movement and our community would like to integrate into the village and also into the region. And because I think it matters what kind of perspective we have, I would like to start with making a little bit of like a bigger picture where I come from and what I invite you to. So my grandmother is born in the neighbor village, and she went to school on a high, like on a minimum, like cloister, how do you say it?
Monastery.
On a monastery. It was the only school she went that there was, and she had in winter. She would always tell me she wouldn't have shoes, and she would walk up there barefoot through 1 meter of snow. So actually, part of my origin is like really from this region. And just a quick overview: my parents are born both in a very in the generation of the 68, so the hippie generation, and my parents were both like totally that sense of hippies. My father was in Woodstock, and my mother was traveling with my father for many years through many cultures and communities. So I am raised in a totally different environment, and I've seen a lot from this planet, many countries. And maybe for you it's interesting because when I was 12 years old, I totally felt like I had no bigger longing than to belong to something, to society that is normal, to that my parents had a normal job, that I go to school, that my mother would make cookies for Christmas, that we celebrate all the normal celebrations. So, because I say this, because we live in the eco village up on the mountain, and sometimes I see that the people from the village project that we are like a hippie village or something. And I want to show you like this interweavance. When I was 17 years old, I was 1 year in Australia, and I realized that everyday life, like people have everyday life and normal lives, not always enjoy their situation, not always live the life that they really want to live. And I for sure know that you know this feeling. So coming from all these aspects, I am now here, living here, and I feel that we have one common essence. So we have a care for the region. We have a care for the future. We have a lot of care how we integrate people, how we bring everybody in. And I believe that our community and the local governments could easily, very beautifully, create beautiful models for the generation future that I know you are working on hard since 20 years. So I'm very happy to present you one perspective that we from the Gen Network could improve or interweave into this region. And we have 1 minute 20 left. Great. Maybe a friend from the region, I will come to see you.
I like the relation you made with your childhood and the things you experimented, that people can feel the connection with you.
I'm really impressed and seeing this with the that's your alignment.
Alignment. Alignment.
Yeah, I felt I could trust you. I'm interested in working with you, especially because I felt that you had a sense of self-worth, like a gravitas, and a sense of groundedness. Yeah, I'd be interested in exploring this.
I would be very interested in exploring it too, because I really felt that there was a very concrete person with lots of experience offering a new future for the region. So,
That bringing together youth and experience, that's exciting.
yeah.
Plus a real appreciation for the traditions. You know, when you mentioned the traditions that you didn't experience in your childhood, I felt there was an appreciation for the audience.
I'm just explaining a little bit more about Jan. I was putting myself in their position. I wasn't very sure what Jan is.
Like in my imagination, I would then present half an hour on the agenda.
Yeah,
That's what the speaking was.
It would come next. Right.
That was-
Yes.
We don't know our extra time, just so you know.
Great, good.
But
Thank you. Who are you speaking to?
I am speaking to youth. Yay! All right, go. All right, everyone. Welcome. My name is Michael, and I'm here today to talk to you about something that you may not know, which is called eco-villages. So, we're not going to go straight into eco-villages. First I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, where I came from. So I grew up in Norway, in Oslo, one of the richest places in the world, where supposedly the best place to live, according to statistics. But about 12 years ago, I discovered what we now talk about as climate change. At that point, something happened within me. Like there was, I realized very suddenly that this was something that a very serious matter that was affecting the whole world, and there was something in me that wanted to be a part of making a change for the better. And then I started studying this topic. I went to university for several years, tried to get an overview, looking into all the solutions. But the more I got into the topic, the more I understood it, the also more complex it became, and I kind of felt more and more. I felt more and more lost in the sense that I didn't know how I could contribute in this big conflict. Like I felt like nothing would make a difference. And this got me into sort of I lost the sense of joy. And this is what I see now in you also. You have no feeling that there is a future. There's really, you feel like this heaviness that why should we even go to school? We don't have a future. This climate change will kill us. What I want to say is that, which I've discovered in myself, that there is really the way you can it's really important to find a way to gain back your power, and finding what you love and re-believing that this actually is possible to make a change. So what I want to do now, my passion is to play music, and now I'm starting to. I am so fortunate to be now in contact with the Global Equal Network, and I want to spread this message that people are living a totally different way, which you maybe not imagined was even possible. And I want to play music to fundraise money so that more and more people can live a simpler lifestyle, in contact with nature and in contact with each other, not so that everyone has to compete in creating their own career. That it can be more, that we can do it together as a team. Yeah. So I just want to lift up your spirits and try to turn this over from a depression to something that we can fight for together. Thank you.
Yeah, go with me.
40 seconds left.
Feedback, now feedback.
Good. I would have two feedbacks. One is I wouldn't tell the young people that they do have depression or something like I wouldn't already say that they are feeling really bad, and because they make it very quick. And the second thing was
Very interesting.
no, that I find when you get insecure, you put more words in, and I would rather have you. It would become more powerful if you would not say anything and just wait for you know what you want to say instead of putting more words.
Also, I wonder if you could, like, I know, like, you have a passion for music, but we hear about it just like at one point. But I wonder if you could incorporate it in your story maybe a bit more, so we know what you call and that's.
Yeah, like bringing your passion through into your story, because your story is more of like the plot of your life rather than this is what this is the emotional.
I could maybe go more straight into
I love your smile.
Yes.
When your smile comes through, it's like it lights up the room and I really get it. So smile at us. It makes me want to go with you.
Yeah.
And I think the end was really strong. The end was really good. And in the beginning, I didn't feel that you were talking to me. It felt like you were talking to somebody else, more to the government or something. To us, you know.
Yeah.
But it did not feel like you, because you would use a different kind of stuff, different kind of wording. So just to be more at your ease, more at ease.
And probably you need to start with a song.
Oh, yeah.
Trumpet.
We need to hear a song.
Really could set the
Yeah.
set the tone.
Yeah, I think you'd feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So just 1.5 minutes behind schedule. Yes, ready? I'm talking to a group of philanthropists from an organization called Synergos. It's a branch from the Rockefeller Foundation. And I'm a facilitator of inner work for this group. So here we are, and I want to talk a little bit for what's happened in Europe as we have arranged this before. I know you're curious to know what I went to learn there. And some of you may not know that I come from a business background. I used to be a business consultant, a psychologist, bringing self-development to business for a long time. And there I was, trying to bring and to fix the system. And then for like a decade or more ago, I realized that a group of people, they were building a new world. And I thought that was so fascinating. Integrating
our drive to ecology and for environmental together with social and increase and like creation of a new humanity. So this is all about what we're doing, and all of you have been to Terra Luminas, or most of you, so you know that we are a retreat center, but we are also an institute for preservation of the forest and also for social transformation. And we also are an eco-village. We are also a community, an intentional community. And I know that most of you don't know what is an intentional community. Some of you were like, what is eco-village, Fabi, when I told you in our last meeting in June. So I'm now very engaged to this organization called the Global Eco-Village Network. So we're not isolated in the world. There is an organization very well structured that is bringing technology so we can share, we can exchange. And I know that you are all so interested in ecology. And last meeting in June, you all decided that you're going to put all your energy, your investments, your philanthropy work to save the forests throughout South America, especially Amazon. And it's so amazing. But also, I see you're very concerned about what projects should we support. And what I want you to realize, it's a more holistic context. So, like the GEN, the Global Eco-Village Network, is considering 4 dimensions. Ecology is one of the dimensions, but also culture, social, economic, and the whole system's design is something that we should appreciate and take care. Because sometimes when we just, and I heard you saying that you have been frustrated supporting some organizations that had that flag, oh, let's save Amazon. But actually, they weren't building community spirit there. So maybe more important than only finding a very well-structured project where you can support is how can we support this design of the new humanity? Because that's what we're doing in eco-villages. We're thinking, and how can we live in a different way? How can we consume in a different way? How can we establish connection and a relationship with the earth, and not only using the earth for our living? So this is what I want to invite you to know, and I think I'm offering you a present, so you can be the designers of this new society.
No.
1 minute and 20 seconds left. Yeah. That's inspiring.
I love the term design for humanity. I heard it now for the first time in combination of the GEN model, and I really love that. And I love your way you involve in every sentence you bring.
Your passion shines through.
Excuse me?
Your passion shines through.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
very wholehearted, it's very
Yeah.
inviting. Like, I want to be part of this. I want to go with you. It's really like, beautiful and clear.
Yeah, it's just the way I imagine it to be when we were discussing it.
Oh, right. We're here reversed.
Yeah, I think that you can hear that you are used to talking in front of people, so you feel very much at ease and you have a very easy way of going. And it was a very nice introduction to GEN. I really appreciated the way you presented GEN for many, many things. And I just would like a little bit more of your personal motivation, why you are so fond of GEN. This is the only thing. I mean, it was all perfect. This is the only thing that I think we could improve.
Great. Thank you.
Great.
Let's breathe.
Oh,
Let's see. How about
Mm.
it?
So, you are the people in the membership of a town. The mayor wants to sell to other organizations one piece of land, which actually is for the Muslim nationality in a community. He knows they are there, but he wants to sell that piece of land so he can get out, people of the day. So you are the secretaries and all the things. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I'm part of the project of the participatory reconstruction of the Muslim National Territory. I know you have heard of it. After the landslide, you knew that 200 people were disappeared or killed. And we also know that you are looking for ways to avoid this to happen at the same time that you are trying to create more spaces for people to live and to change the territory or el plan de ordenamiento territorial. Okay? So, what I'm coming to present you, it's an idea that I truly believe is going to be very useful for the interest of the leadership and also for the actual reallocation, not only of the Muslim national people, but other communities, indigenous communities, which are part of the electorate. That's the truth here. So, back in 2011, I met a program including the Warriors Without Weapons. And there we were creating spaces for having the community to do something with their own armed resources. So we were creating oases in which people could actually get to know their own power to transform the space. And I remember a little kid, 7 years old, looking at me with his big eyes and told me, I will never forget this. So imagine that we can, with our actions in the participation of this territory, also engage more young people. I know that we want to continue a political, field. So what I'm proposing to you is we're going to look at this together. We're going to see together what does it mean for Mukua to, bet on the construction of the global. So that's basically the plan. And then I'm going to jump into the numbers, statistics, and so much hard. So much hard. So much passion. Yeah. But I want you to honestly tell me, you are this guy. Those guys want the money. Would you buy it or not? Yes. Be honest.
More or less, because we face the same problem, and they laugh at us when we talk about participatory movement and so on. They say, "Oh yes, but they want the real estate interests and so on." So I don't know if you are really.
I'm aware. And my next step after my first 3 minutes is to go to the numbers.
I'm not sure. I would say every time you say participatory movement, it sounds a bit complex.
Okay.
And you use me a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think for me you need to use the word participatory. I'm not so interested.
Okay.
I want to know the numbers. I want to know about the next electorate.
Yes.
It actually touched me when you spoke about the 7-year-old with the guy saying, I will never forget it. I want to have children with me like that. That touches me.
Okay.
So, yeah, the electorate touches me, and I think you can build on that.
Okay. What else?
And also building peace in the region. I want you to tell me how this will make me look good.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I felt suspicious in the beginning. Okay.
19 for you. I said, oh, that is good for me. And I should like at this moment that you can really convince me that we are going to have very many advantages to it. And it seems like you are just selling something. And I wanted just to be sure that if I buy this, I will get what I need.
Yeah, and I would rather have a feeling that you are listening to us as well. Like, you know, I know that you're trying to do this and this and this and this. This is in your plans. You know, what I bring might be supporting you in this. So a bit less assured of yourself, and a bit more like fully rich. Like I'm also intelligent. Right?
What
At
are
least I
their
want
needs?
to feel like I'm in.
What are their needs?
I think this was, what Krisha just said is important, but besides that, I found you really, with lots of energy, with lots of passion, with lots of, I would trust you, I would really trust you, I would think, oh wow, this is a competent person, who can see that.
And you have strengths in all, you have strengths in all elements. Yeah. Like there's earth, there's actually conflict, emotion, there's air, logic, there's passion. Maybe a bit more silent.
Yeah, I'm a bit too fast for me. But
But
Like
I
a
also
cultural.
say Jennifer said it's like super hard to get an appointment. You look at your phone all the time and it's like you have to be on the point very fast and that's this energy is also like you brought some really good aspects, like really fast and you're somebody that doesn't get blown away.
Do you want this? What time is the end of the session?
6:30.
Okay, it's 6 now. Just so you know.
Thank you. Fantastic timekeeper. No more.
Thank
Voilà.
you. Thank you. Exactly.
So,
I'm going to ask you a favor to say it in French because I want to speak to a French public, if you don't mind.
See.
Or I may try to say in English, but it will lose all the things I want to say. It just came to my mind.
vas-y. Vas-y.
First of all, just to know a little bit about the
You only
context.
have 10 seconds for your introduction. Sorry,
Okay.
please be able to find. Who are you speaking
To a group for a festival in France at the end of August, where there will be thousands of people maybe, and all the different people coming from different movement of transition coming for this festival. And the name is L'An Zéro.
Year zero.
Je suis un enfant des années 68. Et ce qui m'a le plus marqué, certainement, c'est l'an 1. Vous avez certainement entendu parler de loin ou de près. Cette bande dessinée qui a été écrite par GB, où il disait tout simplement on arrête tout et on voit ce qui se passe. Donc c'est quelque chose qui m'a tout le temps porté depuis toutes ces années. Et j'ai essayé différentes choses en fait pour trouver le moyen de pouvoir trouver ce moment de tout arrêter, de tout recommencer. Donc vous savez certainement déjà quelle est mon activité aujourd'hui, puisque je me présente souvent comme un papillon pollinisateur. Et ce qui m'a touché récemment, juste au début de cet été, c'est que j'ai rencontré, pour certains vous me connaissez déjà, j'ai rencontré une structure, enfin, une organisation qui s'appelle le GEN, Global Eco-Village Network. On a cette qualité en France d'avoir des idées extraordinaires. Mais en même temps, on est très franco-français, comme vous savez, on a du mal à sortir de nos limites. Et là, tout d'un coup, même si aujourd'hui on sait qu'il y a des éco-villages, qu'il y a également, bien entendu, toute la structure mise en place par le Colibri qui s'appelle des oasis, il y a une dimension qu'on n'a pas encore explorée et dont on a besoin aujourd'hui, surtout quand on se rencontre là tous ensemble pour vraiment changer le monde, c'est qu'on doit sortir de nos frontières. Et le Global Eco-Village Network, donc c'est le réseau des éco-villages global, hein, ont des outils qu'on n'a pas encore vraiment jusqu'à présent explorés. Ils ont une approche, on aime bien ce mot-là aussi également en France, systémique, qui permet vraiment de pouvoir aborder tous les différents aspects. On connaît déjà ces trois aspects à travers le développement durable, l'économie, le social et l'économie. Cette dimension de la culture également, qui est comme une sorte, à mes yeux en tout cas, qui fait le point de jonction entre les trois aspects. Et surtout, bien entendu, ce qui nous touche de plus en plus aujourd'hui, à travers tous les outils qu'on développe en intelligence collective, c'est la dimension de la transition intérieure. Donc cette dynamique, j'essaie justement de mettre en place entre cette dynamique, cette transition intérieure, cette transition sociétale. Donc je vous propose, dans les prochains ateliers, puisqu'on va avoir plusieurs ateliers, de pouvoir effectivement explorer toutes ces dimensions qui nous permettent de sortir de nos frontières, et de voir tout ce qu'ils peuvent nous apporter également, est-ce que nous aussi également on peut contribuer, comment on peut contribuer à cette dynamique du Global Eco-Village Network. Voilà, à tout bientôt.
Just 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Very good.
Donc, feedback, c'est ça?
Oui, oui.
Feedback. In English. Oh, okay. So thank you for the audience, and I could see that you could.
Je n'ai pas compris tout, mais il a été très convincant.
Très
Convaincant.
Convaincant. Convaincant. Moi aussi, j'aimais la transition intérieure, la connexion à la culture. Je pense que tu as aussi voulu parler du dessin intégral.
Oui, c'est ça. Oui, puis là, je me suis mélangé un peu les pinceaux.
Oui, mais ça, je pense que ça, c'est important aussi. Et aussi, j'aime beaucoup ton sourire. Vraiment, c'est beaucoup de lumière. C'est important. Ça me touche.
But I didn't see much connection, like what with the festival and what you were offering here.
I think it must be interesting to really show how this is linked to the transition, how Jen works with transition of traditional villages, of existing municipalities.
Maybe you didn't understand, but during the festival there will be workshops.
Yeah,
So I was introducing that we have workshops how to manage all this. But maybe I don't answer to your question.
Sometimes it's better to say the word community than eco-village, isn't it? Because people, like eco-village is a closed system, group and make this transition towns, movement. Something you could say community, I don't know.
Many of them go into villages.
Yeah, the word community in French has like different meanings as well. Moi, j'ai bien aimé ta première partie où tu parles du fait que tu es un enfant de mai 68 et tu parles de l'exemple très facile, la BD, etc. Moi, j'ai approché tout de suite du coup. Quand tu dis je suis un enfant de mai 68, tous les Français vont comprendre, même s'ils n'ont pas vécu mai 68 comme moi. Tout le monde sait de quoi tu parles et ça fédère immédiatement. Il n'y a personne qui va dire que mai 68 c'est différent. Tout le monde se rallie plutôt à ça, même s'il y en a qui pensent que c'est politique, etc. C'est un symbole fort.
peut-être dire ton prénom d'abord avant de dire, je sais pas.
Ok, merci. Just check my. I'm not afraid of myself. Okay. So, who I'm speaking to? Let's see. I've
10 seconds.
Okay, I've got Donnie tied up in a S&M dungeon. Taking over.
You don't want
Donald Trump. I mean, it's a joke. I'm joking. I mean, if I'm speaking to the government, that's what I'm.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Translate?
We're taking over. Okay.
Can you translate?
So no, really, I'm just speaking to people about the circus and being a Gen Amp as a Gen ambassador.
I'm running.
My name is Alea Amanita Aquarian, and to give you a little background of how I came to be involved in the Eco Villages movement and creating the regenerative circus, I will let you know where my name came from. My first name, Alea, my parents got the idea from the first Star Trek movie. There was a bald character named Alia, and she was a Vulcan princess who used a mind meld to communicate with the out-of-control artificial intelligence that had joined its consciousness with V'ger, the spacecraft, and she saved the universe. So, no pressure there, but I took that as a edict that that's what I'm here for. And my middle name, Amanita, is after the Amanita muscaria, which is the most powerful psychedelic mushroom. And so that's the red one with the white spots that you see in Alice in Wonderland. Because my parents were on mushrooms when they had a conscious conception of me. They were bringing forth what they called the Bud-Will child, which came from my dad, who joined a spiritual brotherhood in the 70s called the Source Family. And it was a commune. You know, it was still shifting. It was, you know, the part of the dawning of the Aquarian age. So the leader of that cult took 14 wives and died in a cocaine-fueled hang gliding accident in Hawaii. So, but what I'm taking from that history is that it was the first vegetarian, they had the first vegetarian restaurant in Hollywood, and they were, you know, making lifestyle choices that were, you know, more in line with some ecological, other than some other stuff. But, so, yeah, that's where my name comes from. That's a little bit of background about me and kind of how my hippie upbringing brought me to this place of creating circus for inspiring and educating people and communities about how we all move forward to create a world that works for everyone. And I like to say that I am here to immanentize the eschaton, which means to bring about end times or heaven on earth. And
3 minutes.
yes, and yeah, so, you know, we have a choice moving forward in the world, how this time is going to be. It looks like it could be, you know, very catastrophic for humanity, but there's also the opportunity to bring about heaven on earth, and that's what I'm here for.
When is it going to Costa Rica?
Yes, thank you.
3.5 minutes, 1.5 minutes.
Well, to be really frank and honest, you kind of lost me. Because it was too much about drugs. Our drugs, cocaine, death.
I know, that was bad, that was.
And
a mess.
I just thought, oh, yes, that's what I always thought people were about. They're all about drugs. So it kind of, okay, so it's true. And we lost you. And at the same time, they have such a beautiful presence, such a beautiful voice. And when you spoke about regenerative or regenerative circles, or there was another place in the end where I could feel like your intelligence, what you're here for, when you really get it. And so it's like,
Thank you. And I could feel that in the audience. I was like, oh, God. So thank you for that feedback.
and I guess I also didn't know exactly who I was, whether it was Trump or who was it? But somewhere along the line, you lost me.
Exactly. I was very pleased to see your show, but I was lost.
I also think it was too much about, it was like a theater, it was like a performance, and it was also too seductive to talk to others. You know, sometimes you have the seductive way, which can be very nice in certain surroundings, but it's not adequate for other surroundings. And I also agree with it too much. I mean, I would not bring in the drag and all that stuff, you know, because it takes away the people, you know.
I guess if I was talking to Donnie, he might be into it because
He'd be well. He'd be well.
he's a
Were you
fighter.
talking to governments or to people from your cities? Government?
Sorry.
I was following. I like it. I think it's a great fact. Like,
Actually speaking, you did it.
Who are you talking to?
I'm not really clear. I wasn't clear.
I used to say talking to the circus people.
I think what the idea, who I really want to talk to is people who are going to be interested in having the circus be part of a festival or community and visit, you know. and-
Oh, that's different.
Yeah,
That's completely different.
So one name is enough, the first name offers the service that you're going to give, and that's the most important point. What are you really offering?
Maybe say the second one when they already agreed and they already seen what we can do, and then they'll see your point. I don't know.
But more about your personal motivation as well. Like again, it's just facts about my life rather than the passion behind it.
I think that in you that it's like Trip Step being, and it's like really amazing. I really love it, and I really love when you talk about cocaine deaths, you know, because I can kind of appreciate that. But I think it's good to know when it's in, when it's out, and when it's half in and half out, you know, consciously.
I would love you to repeat clearly, who is your audience? Who do you want to be?
Who I want to talk to for real in the future is festivals, people who produce festivals, and communities. So I want to visit communities and I want to be a resource sharing conduit.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have left we have 13 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. We'll do the last
She
one.
was sitting there.
Yeah? Because we're going to the restroom. And we're a few moments late. It's fine. And yeah, I love the color change. Thank you for trying out wild and unusual.
Yeah.
Wow. Wonderful.
Well, I will continue. You are in the future very organized a jam training for you. Internet. about education. And at the end, I will tell you how. But first, I'd like to tell you a little story about myself. When I was young, I grew up in a farmer's family. My grandfather was farmer, my father was farmer, my neighbors were farmers, even my uncles were farmers. And one thing farmers are always doing is reading. Who knows what is reading? Yes?
You take away the bad benefits.
Yes, exactly. Like, I was in the garden of my father. My father grew this kind of flowers. Yes. So everything was not this flower, I had taken it. Like this grass. So when I was 6 years old and I had to read, and I saw this beautiful grass, I really went into it. And I saw the really beautiful hair and the seeds underneath it. And oh, it grew violent. And I was really thinking, why must I take away this one and let's turn this one? I didn't see the differences between those plants. Later on, 18 years old, I come on an organic farm. And they asked me to read a plot. So what I did was what I learned, cut everything out of it except one mean crop. And they start to shout, "What are you doing now?" I said, "Oh, I'm reading." "No, you're taking away everything out of it." I said, "No, not that mean crop." They said, "No, listen. This field is a plant family. And all the plants are supporting each other. And when you take away everything, then they have no family to support the main crop. So what you have to do is take a look to the field. Look which weed is really overwhelming. Take that one away and find the right balance. Boy, that was another perspective about reading. And then I saw, this is a really other way of looking to the world. This goes about family, togetherness, and supporting each other like a community. There I start to realize the really big thing what's going on in the community. How we should embrace diversity. How we should embrace the diversity in nature as well. Now, this is one thing the GEM organization can offer to you. It's actually a big community of a lot of eco-villages, a lot of communities who support each other. And in that you can find friends, you can find support, you can find your own talents. In that they support to find your own things that you can offer to the world. Not alone, but together. It has two heads. To make a really beautiful sound, you shouldn't be doing it alone. You should do it together.
I'm getting very passionate about your story. First of all, by the fruits. I don't know if you have watched this movie, Dark Crystal. You remember at the beginning there was some Victor? Anyway, just yes, I was like a child. I don't know to whom you were speaking, but anyway, it doesn't matter for me. But one thing came to my mind. Could we, could we continue when you are going to present Jim, just to stay on the same thing that you are how do you say, telling the story? Could be very interesting really to just think about it. You see what I mean?
No, but I would tell, I think if you, about it, if you can explain me that. Yeah.
Very catchy, very well organized. I love the plot. I love the theme. I love the way you presented it. The story was really, really catchy. And I think it's something that and also you ended really well. I mean, it was really well organized. And I think that you can catch you a lot with it.
Completely. And also the way you started with farmer, you know, and some of you were so authentic through the whole thing. You had me with every single word.
It was amazing.
Exquisite.
Yeah.
One of the, if I would be, let's say, 15, I would make it different. Like it's too nice, or I don't know which kind of view. If you're,
And maybe this story is much more interesting. So it's something that where I felt like it sounds really, if I would put it, is it then something religion that I can part of where everything is good? This was like when I thought of the various youth, then I would be nice. This was the thing that came up.
Really small, maybe.
Very
I
small.
think.
Wow.
Yeah.
10, 12,
Yeah. But even as a 16-year-old, there was something about how you appreciated the beauty of the grass and then said that there is a space for everyone in this community, which actually touched me. Even when but I really get that.
I felt my inner child here with you. Thank you for that. Wow. That's a big compliment.
Thank you.
How do I feel? I'll be fine. Yes, I am speaking to my neighbors. This co-op organization that's very, very good at economics and taking care of us in all the practical manners, but there's no community. So I'm speaking at the local association meeting. Hello, everyone. My name is Katarina. I've seen most of you around where I live. We've often passed each other on the way in and out, and parking my bike in the back garden, which is beautiful, which the garden management company is taking very good care of. However, we've never said hello, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to say hello and to present to you a vision I have for our cohabiting here in this beautiful spot in the middle of Stockholm. I grew up in the city and I have a very soft spot for it, but as we all know, it has changed since I was a kid. When I was a child, we were working together in the garden, in the backyard, the neighbors to create a space for us and to create something that we could share. But we all know in the past decade or two, most of the inner city has been taken over by private capital. It's private owners associations. But we're still a co-op. And we're still working to minimize speculation. We're still working to find a way to live inside the city limits that is diverse for people who are not all making millions of Swedish kronor a year to find a place in. And this is what I find is our strength. And I've recently gone to a training course for an organization called GEM that has an amazing tool amongst a lot of experience of community building and other things we care dearly about in this time of climate emergency, to be honest. And I have this flag behind me. I think where our strength is definitely in one of the 4 areas that Jen have mapped for community, and that's the economy side. But I think we have so much more space to explore in our neighborhood, to work in the other dimensions that are important to create robust defense against the speculation that we're working to counteract. And I think the social, the cultural, and the ecological dimensions is something that we together would be able to take reading of, at least. If there's interest among you to create a more holistic environment for us, a more strong association, then I would propose that at the next meeting, we can use this system with the questions that Jen has prepared in a playing project and find out if we are able to put our communal forces into something stronger. Thank you.
3.5 minutes. I just want to say that I really liked your pace. Like, it was really clear for me, you were always taking time to, like, taking breaths between what you were saying and emphasizing on some words. And I felt like I understood exactly what you were on about. So, yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, I thought it was really solid. So I'm also with you. And I think what could have made it even stronger is I had a longing to hear your vision. Like, you know, something like, I imagine that when we meet each other, we actually know about each other.
Yeah.
You know, that I know
Yeah,
your
yeah.
name. Something that
Yeah,
kind
what
of
prompted
touches
me
me in my
to
heart.
take this action.
I also think it was very strong as far as air is concerned. It's really logical, well built. And yeah, very good. And also the earth was good, so you were present, you had a good voice. So also that. And what I felt a little bit you could improve is exactly the inspiration. So to make them understand that there is really something that you want to offer, why the world becomes better, why their situation becomes a better place in the world.
Yeah.
You know, to open up a bit. And I would have liked also something that would touch the people on a heart level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to tread a fine line with Swedish people living in Stockholm because they easily scared if you even smile.
Oh, really?
What did you want? So we're a bit of a avoid eye contact with population.
I understand.
But if you smile, like if you go to the practical way, like for example, we don't know each other. Maybe I need someone to fix my computer, and your son fixes computer. So
it could be.
Yeah, this is the way.
Exactly. And I would be happy if they just said hello.
Yes.
But more of a vision. Yes.
And really bringing this vision of family. That we together can create a real family.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is that you've got such a lovely voice, and the way you're talking now, it's full of tones and love and light and almost musical.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're presenting, it was quite monotone, which made me a bit bored.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
Yeah, I need
So
to
there was,
rehearse and feel free.
Pardon?
Speaking. This was my first take, so I understand.
Yes, there's a bit of nerves or something going on.
Yeah, to just
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it more
I thought
alive.
that might be the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I think, your voice is amazing.
Maybe sometimes something that in this direction. I thought your voice was pretty good actually. But something that I think goes in this direction is to make sometimes to talk a little bit faster and then make a little
More
pause.
engaged.
and then maybe you talk a little bit what's really important, you slow down a bit.
So that makes also to create more actions.
Thank you. Nervous.
Thank you, Andrea. So I'm talking to people, like half of people who are living in this industrialized society, but who is trying to find some trigger to change their life, and half of people who are already in somewhere who has, I don't know, transformed from the past. Okay. Thank you for everybody who come here. My name is Akiko. Today I would like to share my experience of learning the eco-villages. So in the Global Europe Conference and also the trainer of the training in a little village called Damanhur in Italy, where 800 people, around 800 people living together. And yeah, so I had a really great experience, which is I believe most important thing which is missing in our society, especially maybe in Japan, which is love. So maybe I will start from my own experience. So I was grown up by the parents who is so polar apart. So my mother was like not strong activist, but hoping for the peace in the world. So I was grown up in the forest and spending time with plants and so I think even I was alone, I enjoyed a lot because I felt the connection with this universe.